So theories of production and effectiveness was our group's thing. So I'm going to talk about the style theory. So the style theory was established in 1939 by Lewin, Lippitt, and White. And so this defines leadership as a process of management. So the most influential research on style theory was conducted in the 1960s by Cartwright and Zander, and it focuses on task behavior and relational behavior. So task behavior focuses on increasing productivity, and relational behavior focuses on building team chemistry. So some strengths and weaknesses of the style theory. So task and relational behavior offers a direction for leaders to lead by, and they can learn from past examples. But task behavior maximizes productivity, where relational behavior maximizes team chemistry. So when executed correctly, and there's a proper balance of each, production will be maximized and employees will be happy. So a sound team is kind of like the word used to demonstrate when they both work together. So with a sound team, there's a high relational behavior, and there's also high productivity being done. So there's a commitment to goals, and employees are valid contributors. So a weakness of this is that workers are often viewed as a commodity to increase productivity, and that is not really the best thing. So deconstruction, I'm going to talk about commodification. And so sometimes when maximizing productivity, this can sometimes result in the dehumanization of people. So like in the picture, there's like an assembly line. So think about like a leader giving people a task, and then you're kind of just leaving them to do the task, and you don't really care about how they're feeling or really anything about them. You just want them to get the task done. So that brings me into reconstruction. So this, I'm going to talk about building interest convergence. So we don't live in a perfect society, and people are not robots. So people shouldn't be treated like robots. They should be treated like human beings. And I think a way to fix this is to do like proper team building activities to bring the team together. And I think that when the team's working together, that I think, and that the employees are happy, that production will be better. So overall analysis, the style theory does a good job if you only look at production rates, but it sometimes does not focus enough on the needs of the employees, and there needs to be more of an emphasis put on the needs and job satisfaction of the employees.
So I did situational leadership, and there's lots and lots of theories of this style of leading, but this one in particular is based on Hesi and Blankard 1969. And the main point of this theory is that there's not one best way to lead. There's different situations that determine different styles of leading, and it depends on the context you're in, and it depends on your followers. So there are four main ways to lead based off the development levels of your followers. There's directing, which has high directive behavior and low supportive behavior. Coaching, which is high directive and supportive behavior. Supporting is low directive behavior and high supportive. And delegating is low directive and supportive behavior. And these are supposed to basically go in order over time, in this exact order, like the style of leading that the leader shows the followers. And it is important to treat your followers as individuals rather than a collective. So some strengths of situational leadership. The leader must know how to adapt based on the situation they are in and evaluate the development levels of their followers. There are different options for a leader to choose how they want to lead and what style they believe will be most effective. And it's not just one best way, which I think is a really good strength. And the context matters, and situational leadership takes this into account. Followers may have different levels of development at different stages in the process, and this style of leading is useful and practical. For deconstruction of situational leadership, I did flow of power. So some followers may feel that the leader holds too much power with this style of leading because the leader has total control and say in what way of leading they will use based off their followers' needs, whether it's supporting or directing them or coaching them. And the followers may feel they're not as much of a team because of this, and they might not have as much say. And you're either the leader or one of the followers, and that doesn't really change. And for ideological critique, since there are different ways of leading for the leader to choose from depending on the follower, this could become confusing to followers. So if a follower's coworker is receiving much more support from their leader than they are, they may lose their willingness to work and get things done and have less trust in the leader. For reconstruction of situational leadership attending to power, we should change the power dynamic in order to somehow allow followers to have more power and say in the group. This way, the leader doesn't hold all the power all the time. And disrupting the idea follower needs a different style of leading because it could be hard to assess each individual's development levels. So if we could try out different styles of leading as a collective to see how the group reacts would work maybe a lot better than so many different styles of leading for different people. And my overall analysis is that I like this theory because it allows for the leader to choose what style of leading is best based on the context they are in and the development levels of their followers. And this way of leading should be used by those who understand it first and know how to correctly assess their followers before deciding how to lead. Because if a leader doesn't understand how to assess their followers' development levels, they can end up using the completely wrong style of leading, which could backfire.
So my theory of leadership was path goal leadership. So the main goal is basically to make followers be more motivated so they become more productive. And it's based on Vroom's 1964 expectancy theory, which they said individuals are going to be more likely to follow a path and complete tasks on a path if they expect to get an outcome in the end that's desirable. So some strengths of path goal leadership are that leaders uh, must constantly keep in mind and ask themselves how they're going to motivate and assist their followers, which improves like the quality of work for the followers. The model of the theory is pretty practical and straightforward. So the theory focuses on assisting followers and keeping them motivated, as well as removing as many obstacles in the way as possible. And the theory also focuses on the experience of the followers and is catered to offering a more positive environment to achieve goals. And it also allows the leader to be flexible when they're choosing a leadership strategy, so they can pick like whatever strategy they think is going to work best. So for deconstruction, one of them is commodification. So the process of path goal leadership relies heavily on maximizing efficiency, and people may feel they're being used as a means to an end, and it's kind of like dehumanizing. Leaders also implement the process they believe will be most efficiently. What they'll believe will lead most efficiently to a desirable result, which might become like transparent to the followers. And then flow of power. The leader makes all the calls about how things are going to be done, so the followers don't really have much decision power or like input in the matter. And the followers are like observed when a path is laid out for them, and they're expected to be motivated to follow the path and work towards the goal without really much say in it. So power only really flows one direction from like the leader down, and the leader has all the power and decision making power. And then for reconstruction, attending to power should give power to the followers throughout the path process at the start when like you're deciding on a path to make sure there's more power distributed. And the leader should not be the only one making decisions about the path. Instead, there should be input from the followers about what they feel would make them work the most productive and efficiently. And also disrupting normativity. You need to make sure that there's no one dominant group like deciding the path that everyone else will be following, like within the followers, and ensure also that the leader is acting in the best interest of all the followers, not just in the interest of like one dominant group within the followers. You also need to not give any one group within the followers any preference when deciding what path you're going to like put in place.
So for the comparison of all our theories combined is that all three theories, the main goal is how to maximize production. And according to Dugan, theories of production and effectiveness are grounded largely in management and emphasize the purpose dimension of leadership. And all of our theories attempt to identify leader behaviors in order to achieve their goal and offer advice on the most effective way of leading. And leaders' behaviors are a direct influence on organizational outcomes.